Have you ever met someone who felt perfect in the first week and exhausting by the third month? Have you ever wondered whether love is something you find or something you become? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about one of the most repeated questions on earth, and one of the most misunderstood. How do I find the right person for me? People ask it like there is a single correct match hidden somewhere, like a puzzle piece waiting in the world. But the deeper truth is that the right person is not only about who you meet. It is also about who you are when you meet them, what you are trying to get from love, and whether you are willing to practice the inner skills that make love sustainable. The first main point is that many people search for the right person while still carrying an unhealed inner contract. A silent deal that says, if you love me, you must fix what hurts inside me. That contract turns romance into a rescue mission, and it usually ends with disappointment. The second main point is that real compatibility is not only about attraction or shared hobbies. It is about values, emotional maturity, and the ability to handle suffering together without turning each other into enemies. In other words, the right person is not someone who never triggers you. It is someone with whom you can grow in awareness, wisdom, cause and effect, compassion, and practice. Let me tell you a story that will sound like someone you know, even if you have never met them. There is a person named Jonah. Jonah is thoughtful, funny, and quietly ambitious. He is also tired of being alone, not because he cannot function alone, but because he is tired of feeling like everyone else has a warm place to land while he is always building life by himself. He tells himself he wants a partner because he is ready to share. But if he is honest, part of him wants a partner because he wants relief. Relief from uncertainty. Relief from loneliness. Relief from the pressure of carrying his own feelings alone at night. One day Jonah meets someone named Ava. Ava is confident, bright, and magnetic. She has that energy where conversations feel like sparks. Jonah feels alive around her. He starts thinking, this must be the right person. The chemistry is so strong it feels like fate. The messages are constant. The dates stretch late into the night. Even silence between them feels meaningful. If you have ever felt this, you know the feeling is intoxicating. Your brain starts building a future quickly. You imagine rips, holidays, a home, a shared life. The mind loves certainty, and new love feels like certainty. It feels like a solution. It feels like your life finally makes sense. But after a few months, a different pattern appears. Ava likes closeness, but only on her terms. When she feels stressed, she disappears. Jonah gets anxious when she disappears. He sends more texts. He asks for reassurance. Ava feels controlled. She pulls away more. Jonah feels rejected. He becomes more intense. Ava becomes colder. They start having arguments that feel irrational. The same people who once felt like perfect matches now feel like they speak different emotional languages. Jonah starts asking the question again. Was she the wrong person? Did I misread the signs? Is there a right person at all? This is the moment where many people either become cynical or become obsessive. Cynical people say love is not real. Obsessive people say I need to find the perfect match. But there is a third path. The third path is wisdom. Wisdom starts by asking, what do I mean when I say right person? Many people mean someone who never disappoints them. Someone who always chooses them. Someone who makes them feel safe all the time. Someone who stays consistent even when life is difficult. But that definition turns a human being into a guarantee. No human being can be a guarantee. Human beings have moods, wounds, history, fear, and growth curves. If you ask a person to be your guarantee, you will either suffocate them, or you will spend your life in anxiety trying to hold them still. So a wiser definition is this. The right person is someone whose values align with yours, whose character you respect, and whose emotional maturity allows conflict to become a teacher rather than a weapon. The right person is someone with whom you can practice love as an action, not only feel love as an emotion. Now let us slow down and look at the hidden engines behind attraction. Because this is where so many people get tricked. Attraction is not always a sign of compatibility. Sometimes attraction is a sign of familiarity. Your nervous system can be drawn to what it recognizes, even if what it recognizes is unhealthy. If you grew up around unpredictability, stable love can feel boring at first. If you grew up around emotional distance, emotionally distant partners can feel normal. If you learned to earn love through caretaking, you might be drawn to people who need saving. This is not destiny. It is conditioning. In spiritual language, you could call this karma in motion. Not karma as punishment, but karma as pattern. The mind and body repeat what they know until awareness breaks the cycle. So when Jonah feels drawn to Eva, part of that is genuine admiration. But part of it is also his old pattern. Jonah learned early that closeness can be taken away without warning. So when Eva disappears, it lights up his deepest fear. He tries to prevent abandonment by becoming more attached. This creates the very distance he fears. That is cause and effect. The intention is safety. The result is insecurity. Eva also has her own pattern. She learned that when people demand emotional closeness, she loses herself, so she protects herself by withdrawing. Her intention is freedom. The result is disconnection. Again, cause and effect. This is why the right person question is incomplete without the right self-question. Who are you when you love? What do you do when you feel insecure? Do you communicate clearly? Or do you test people? Do you ask for what you need? Or do you punish people for not guessing? Do you regulate your emotions? Or do you hand them to someone else? Do you love with open hands? Or do you cling with fear? None of this is about blame. It is about awakening. Awakening is seeing clearly what you are doing while you are doing it. So Jonah begins a new approach. Instead of hunting for certainty, he begins to train his awareness. He notices that his mind confuses intensity with intimacy. Intensity is excitement, quick bonding, constant stimulation, emotional highs and lows. Intimacy is steadiness, honesty, reliability, care over time. Intensity feels like fire. Intimacy feels like warmth. Fire is dramatic, but warmth is what you live with. Jonah realizes he has been chasing fire because warmth felt unfamiliar. Warmth felt like it might not be real. Fire felt undeniable, but fire also burns. So he starts asking different questions when he meets people. Not, do I feel obsessed? Not, do they text fast? Not, do they make me feel chosen right away? He asks, do I feel more peaceful around this person over time? Do I respect how they treat people when no one is watching? Do they take responsibility for their mistakes? Can they apologize without turning it into a performance? Do they speak Ruth kindly? Do they keep their word? Do they have a stable relationship with reality? Or are they constantly creating chaos? Because love is not only how someone makes you feel. Love is what someone does. There is another crucial layer. Values. Values are the invisible architecture of a life. Two people can have strong attraction and still suffer if their values are opposite. One values growth and honesty. The other values comfort and avoidance. One values family closeness. The other values distance. One values financial stability. The other values impulsive freedom. None of these values are morally superior, but mismatched values create constant friction. Many people avoid these conversations early because they are afraid it will ruin the romance. But that avoidance becomes expensive later. When you do not discuss values, life will discuss them for you through conflict. Conflict is a teacher, but you do not need to learn every lesson the hard way. In a conscious approach, Jonah begins to bring courage into early dating. Not interrogation, just honest curiosity. He asks about how someone handles stress. He asks about their relationship with family. He asks what they think commitment means. He asks how they handle anger. He asks what they do when they feel overwhelmed. He watches behavior more than words. This is not cynicism. This is respect. If you respect your life, you ask real questions. Now let us talk about the biggest illusion of all, the soulmate illusion. The soulmate story says there is one person who fits you perfectly. If you find them, love will be effortless. If love becomes hard, you found the wrong person. That story is popular because it removes responsibility. It also sells fantasy. But it is not how real relationships work. Real relationships are not effortless because two humans are not static. People change. Their needs evolve. Their wounds surface. Their energy shifts. Life throws stress, money issues, health issues, family issues, relocation, loss. If your relationship only works when life is easy, the relationship is not strong. It is convenient. So the right person is not someone who removes difficulty. The right person is someone with whom difficulty can be met with teamwork, honesty, and compassion. This is where compassion becomes practical again. Compassion in a relationship means you do not turn your partner's fear into a personal insult. You still set boundaries, but you stay curious about what is happening inside them. You try to understand their inner weather, and you allow them to understand yours. You become allies against the problem, not enemies against each other. But compassion has a partner. Wisdom. Wisdom says compassion without boundaries becomes self-betrayal. Wisdom says love without truth becomes fantasy. Wisdom says kindness without clarity becomes confusion. So Jonah learns a balanced approach. He learns to be compassionate, and he learns to be clear. He notices that when he is afraid, he tends to over-explain. He sends long messages. He tries to convince. He tries to repair too fast. He thinks if he says the right thing, the other person will stay. But this is not communication. This is bargaining. Bargaining is fear-wearing language. So he practices doing less. He practices pausing. He practices letting silence exist without panicking. He practices asking for what he needs in one calm sentence. When communication is calm and clear, it is easier to see compatibility. When communication is frantic, everything becomes distorted. Now the story returns to Jonah and Deva, because something important happens. After months of push and pull, they finally have a real conversation. Not a fight, a conversation. Jonah says, "When you disappear, I feel anxious, and I start creating stories. I realize I do not want to chase you, but I also need consistency in a relationship. Can we talk about what you need when you are stressed?" Ava says, "When I feel overwhelmed, I need space, but I see that I have been taking space in a way that feels like abandonment to you. That was not my intention. I also feel pressured when I get many messages at once." They both sit with the truth. Now here is the key moment. They have two options. They can learn new skills together, or they can realize their needs are incompatible right now. Many people think love means staying no matter what, but conscious love means choosing what is healthy. Sometimes the most compassionate thing is to let go. Not because someone is bad, but because the dynamic is harmful. Jonah realizes that even if Ava is kind, her pattern of withdrawal combined with his pattern of anxious pursuit creates suffering for both. He can work on his anxiety. She can work on her communication. But if neither is ready, the relationship becomes a training ground for pain, not growth. So they try a structured change. Ava agrees to communicate when she needs space, even if it is just a short message. Jonah agrees to give space without flooding her with messages, and to regulate himself through grounding and support from friends instead of using her as his only anchor. They create a simple agreement. For a while it helps. Then a stressful period hits. Ava returns to disappearing. Jonah returns to pursuit. They notice they are back in the loop. This time Jonah does something different. Instead of interpreting it as personal failure or proof he is unlovable, he interprets it as information. This relationship is showing me my pattern. This is a karmic mirror. not karma as doom, but karma as revelation. He decides to step away with respect. He tells Ava he cares for her, and he also recognizes they are not bringing out the best in each other. He says he needs a relationship where consistency is natural, not constantly negotiated. Ava is sad but also relieved. They part without cruelty. Jonah grieves, but he also learns this is what conscious choosing can look like. It is not glamorous. It is not always romantic. It is honest. It is kind. It is wise. Now let us bring the focus back to you, because you might be wondering, so what do I actually do? The deeper answer is that you train yourself first, then you choose. Train yourself means you develop emotional regulation. You learn to calm your body when it is activated. You learn to tolerate uncertainty without controlling people. You learn to speak needs without demanding. You learn to hear feedback without collapsing. You learn to apologize without defensiveness. You learn to repair after conflict. These are not personality traits. These are skills. Skills can be practiced. In spiritual terms, this is practice. The way you practice becomes your destiny. If you practice reactivity, your relationships become reactive. If you practice awareness, your relationships become clearer. If you practice compassion, your relationships become kinder. If you practice honesty, your relationships become real. Choosing consciously also means you stopped reading love like a lottery. Many people date like they are waiting for a magical feeling to remove all doubt. But mature love includes doubt sometimes. The goal is not zero doubt. The goal is enough alignment, enough character, and enough skill to build trust over time. Trust is not a feeling. Trust is evidence repeated. If someone says they value honesty but lies in small ways, believe behavior. If someone says they want commitment but avoid every serious conversation, believe behavior. If someone says they care but consistently dismisses your feelings, believe behavior. Behavior is the real language. At the same time, do not confuse imperfection with incompatibility. Everyone has flaws. The question is whether someone is willing to take responsibility for their flaws. A responsible person becomes safer over time. An irresponsible person becomes more dangerous over time, emotionally and sometimes practically, because they do not learn. Now let us talk about suffering together, because this is the true test. Life will bring stress, money, health, family conflict, grief, failure. If you want the right person, you want someone who can be on your team under stress. Not someone who needs you to be perfect so they can feel calm. Not someone who blames you for their feelings. Not someone who disappears or becomes cruel when life gets hard. A good question is not only, how do they treat you when they are happy? How do they treat you when they are disappointed? How do they treat you when they do not get what they want? How do they treat strangers? How do they treat people with less power? How do they speak about their exes? Not because exes are the enemy, but because the way someone talks about the past reveals their maturity. Another layer is friendship. Many people chase romance and forget friendship. But long-term love is friendship with devotion. When the initial intensity fades, friendship carries the home. Can you laugh together? Can you be quiet together? Can you solve problems without humiliation? Can you respect each other even when you disagree? Respect is the oxygen of love. Without respect, love suffocates. Now let us bring in a spiritual insight that is simple and strong. If you want the right person, become the right person. This does not mean become perfect. It means become conscious. It means you do not use someone to escape yourself. It means you do not demand that love heal wounds you refuse to face. It means you take responsibility for your inner life. And you invite partnership from wholeness, not from hunger. Wholeness does not mean you have no needs. It means your needs do not turn into control. When you come from wholeness, you can choose with clarity. When you come from hunger, you choose whoever feels like food, even if they are poison. Hunger makes you desperate. Desperation makes you blind. So how do you move from hunger to wholeness? You build a life that is meaningful without a partner. You invest in friendships. You cultivate skills. You care for your health. You discover purpose. You practice being alone without being abandoned. You learn to soothe yourself. You learn to speak kindly to yourself. You learn to hold your own pain. When you can hold your own pain, you stop demanding that others carry it. And then, when you meet someone, you can ask, does this person add to my life in a healthy way? Or do they simply distract me from myself? This is not about being cold. It is about being awake. Now I want to share something that might challenge you in a helpful way. Many people ask, how do I find the right person for me? But they are secretly asking, how do I find someone who will never leave? No one can promise never leaving. People can promise commitment and effort, and those promises matter. But life is uncertain. The deeper safety you are seeking cannot be guaranteed by another person. It must be cultivated inside you. When you have inner safety, you can love more freely. You can love without fear, turning love into a cage. So the path is not to eliminate risk. The path is to build resilience. Resilience means you can grieve and recover. You can face conflict and repair. You can handle disappointment and stay kind. You can set boundaries and stay compassionate. You can walk away from harm without hating yourself. You can stay in love without abandoning your dignity. That is true strength. Jonah learns this over time. He does not become perfect. He still feels lonely sometimes. He still misses Ava sometimes. But he no longer confuses longing with destiny. He no longer confuses chemistry with character. He no longer confuses obsession with love. He eventually meets someone named Sophia. Sophia is not as flashy as Ava. The first dates are calm. Jonah almost thinks it is not enough. Then he notices something. He sleeps better after seeing her. His nervous system relaxes. Their conversations include truth, not performance. When there is a misunderstanding, Sophia speaks directly without cruelty. Jonah feels safe enough to speak directly too. They build trust slowly. It is not a movie. It is real. When stress comes, they do not collapse into blame. They pause. They breathe. They name what they feel. They repair. They practice. Jonah realizes this is what right can feel like. Not constant fireworks. A steady flame that warms the room. And here is the final lesson. The right person is not someone who completes you. The right person is someone who meets you in your growth. Someone you can practice compassion with. Someone you can learn wisdom with. Someone who respects cause and effect. Someone who understands that love is a verb. If you take anything from this video, let it be this. Stop chasing the idea of perfect. Start cultivating the skills of conscious love. Then choose someone who is also willing to practice. To people, practicing creates a relationship that can hold life. Thank you for being here with me today. If you want, share in the comments what you have learned about the difference between chemistry and compatibility. Share what qualities make you feel safe, not just excited. And share what you want to practice in yourself before you ask it from someone else. Subscribe to the channel for more long-form stories that blend real-life relationships with spiritual wisdom. Like the video if it helped you see love with clearer eyes. And if you want to support the channel and keep these deeper conversations alive, you can join the membership and help us keep building a space where people learn to love consciously.